Is this thing on? I think I ended the countdown prematurely. What's up? Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. I am today's one of those days you're running late and I'm all out of sorts. And it's one of those, of course, when you oversleep, it's one of those days where you forget a whole bunch of shit. And so not only are you running late, but you're running even later because you're doing multiple tasks. That's what I'm doing today. So the reason I'm late, I'm going to blame the dog. We're going to blame Ernie. Ernie got up at 4:22 this morning, and I was wide awake. I also woke up at 2 a.m. I had this wild ass dream. It was this weird dream. My friend from high school, Jason, was having a party, and Jason had parties in high school. And I just remember like this random cavalcade of people from my hometown were there just randomly at this party. So, and then I woke up from that dream at 2 a.m. 4:22, Ernie wakes up. So I get up, I take him out. He's got to go poop. He's got to go pee. We get that taken care of. I come, my wife's awake. I'm awake. And then she's like, and then it's 4:30, right? And then I'm like, oh, you know what I need to do? Because I'm like, I can feel like how dry, it's super dry. We have April air, which is like a humidifier. So for the winter months, so obviously it's off during the summer months. We don't need, it's already humid. I have to run a dehumidifier in the summer. So I like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I've got to turn the April air on. And which usually my wife is like, it's like October and it's still moderately, she's like, it's really dry in here. I'm like, no, it's not. It's fine. But it's like, it's real. When I notice it, it's really dry. So humidity was down to like 27%. Good for cardboard, bad for health, noses, breathing. So, and then all of a sudden my wife's like, oh, tomorrow's trash day. And I'm like, yeah, I need to take the trash out. And she's like, oh, can you take the kitchen trash out? I'm like, yeah. So I finally fall back asleep. So I had turned, my alarm was set for like 5 a.m. because I was going to be eager this morning. Like, oh, I've still got a ton of shipping to do every morning, shipped all day. I'm at 184. Hey, at least I'm under 200 today. And where was that? I don't even know where I was at. I turned my alarm off. I'm like 5 a.m. It's already 4:40 by this point. I'm like, go to bed. Oh, it was so comfy. And it's so like, it's like, I just don't want to wake up. Just don't want to wake up. And I did wake up at 7:05. And here we are, late. So at 7:05, I get ready, take a shower, get dressed, and take the trash out, get the kitchen trash, take the trash out, come downstairs. Oh, you know what? Before I even, because what tends to happen, I've known that I've needed to turn the April air on for like 3 days now. And I'm just going to do it because I'll forget. I'll finish. I'll go make coffee. I'll like go from task to task and completely forget about the humidifier. So I get the April air turned on. Here we are. So it's all Ernie. So let's blame Ernie, and let's pull out a note. I'm going to share this. My wife sends me a text yesterday afternoon. She's in meetings all day. Where are we at? So my wife sends a text and she goes, I just forwarded you an email from Dogtopia. So let's read the email. I'm going to read the email from Dogtopia. I'm still tired. There's the yawn. All right, where's the email? So remember, Ernie is a 6-month-old puppy. He is not yet neutered. He is getting neutered on right before his Christmas present is getting neutered. So I think it's December 23rd. I think is when Ernie's getting snipped. So he's a puppy that has not been neutered. So he's kind of a crazy ass dog. So here's the email that was sent to my wife. So this, I'm not going to give a name, but she or he, I don't know if it's a she or he based on the name, is an instructor, Dogtopia. All right. So here's the email. I just wanted to check in on you and Ernie to see how everything is going at home. Like, that's bizarre. When I read, I'm like, that's a weird thing to say coming from a dog instructor. I'm reaching out today on behalf of the daycare because the shift leaders mentioned that they are starting to see some behavioral changes in Ernie, and we wanted to make sure he felt heard and supported. You heard that right. Let me repeat that. The shift leaders mentioned that they are starting to see some behavioral changes in Ernie, and we wanted to make sure he felt heard and supported. Ernie is a dog. Ernie is a puppy. He is a 6-month-old puppy. How in the fuck do you hear and support your dog, your puppy that doesn't listen anyway? Email goes on. Essentially, the daycare staff are observing some difficulty being crated in daycare. No shit, he's a 6-month-old puppy. And I wanted to reach out to see if we can help him navigate this. How can we help Ernie navigate being crated? Well, how about don't put him in a crate? All right. Little editorial before we get to the second paragraph. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Ernie. Ernie gets away with everything. We let him run the fucking house. The reason Ernie has difficulty being crated, 1, he's a 6-month-old puppy. And 2, we are derelict in our training duties and we never put him in a crate. We're always home. That's why we take him to doggy daycare. He's a fucking puppy. He doesn't want to be in a crate. Are we leading him down to some behavioral issues being created? Probably, by not putting him in a crate. Absolutely. We let him get away with everything. He's our little puppy. We want to have him, we want him to live his best life, okay? All right, second paragraph from our doggy daycare. This is real. This is real. Oh my God, I can't believe this is real. I have noticed, before I get to the second, like when I drop him off at doggy daycare, like when I pick him up, they will give me like a report like he's a child. Like it's like the school line. And it literally is kind of like the school line. It's much shorter and there's not as much drama because I have friends that are parents and they talk about the drama in the school pickup line. It's not like that, but there are there's 3 or 4 cars in line. And we go pick up our little children that happen to be puppies. And they give us like little reports. Oh, Ernie played with Rookie today and they had the best time. And what else was? They made a comment that it's like, he's a fucking puppy. This isn't people daycare. This is not kid daycare. This is puppy daycare. But they do treat it like you would treat a child daycare. All right, moving on. Second paragraph. This is from my puppy's doggy daycare. I wanted to open the door for conversation and check in to see if you have seen this at home or experienced any changes within the family at all. What the fuck? No. Oh, my wife took a new works at a new brokerage now. I still sell baseball cards in the basement. Nothing has changed within our family dynamic. We think that Ernie could benefit from adding in some play-in trains into his day to encourage him to be more confident and comfortable in his crate so that he's having a relaxing break rather than a stressful one. Let me read that again. We think that Ernie could benefit from adding in some play-in trains into his day to help encourage him to be more confident and comfortable in his crate so that he's having a relaxing break rather than a stressful one. Again, he is a 6-month-old puppy. He doesn't want to be in your fucking crate. He wants to play with the other puppies. That's what he does. Confident and comfortable. What the fuck? Is this some kind of cult? What the fuck is this? Dogtopia does sound like a cult, though. If you think of it, Dogtopia. It's like Utopia. I would love to chat with you about it in a free consult you can set up here, and there's a link. Feel free to select my name from the drop-down when booking. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or information you think might be helpful for Ernie or any additional training you'd love to apply. That's a real email from a doggy daycare. So going back to the text string with my wife, she says, I just forwarded you an email from Dogtopia. So I opened it up and I read it. And I said, what the heck? What the heck? I couldn't process. Like, the first time reading that, I'm like, is this real? This is really weird. This is really, really weird. What the heck? That's all I could muster. My wife says, I started laughing. They want to make sure he feels heard and supported. What the fuck? He's a dog. Let him play. That's what we take him there. We don't take Ernie to doggy daycare to feel heard and supported and build confidence in him. We take him to go play with other puppies because otherwise he's just hanging out here. Cleaners move the dog bed. He's just behind me and probably being stressed out because he wants to be at doggy daycare playing with the other puppies. So when my wife came home, we discussed this further in our family dynamic. And I said, maybe we should find a new doggy daycare. I don't know if this is the right fit for us. And if Ernie's stressed out while being crated up, what the fuck is that? Now, that's and my wife said, she's like, I was in a meeting. So my wife's phone, like every notification, she's like checking her phone. Kind of like me, but mine's just like, oh, I got a new tweet message about the Cubs. Hers is actually work related. Mine's like, Cubs signed Matthew Boyd. So she's like, yeah, so I get this notification and I read it as I'm in this meeting and I burst out laughing like in the middle of the meeting and showed one of the other agents in the meeting. So my thought process now, I want you to hear me and listen to me, hear me out. I want to be heard and supported with this news from doggy daycare. Now, my thought process is this is fucking wackadoo. This is fucking nuts, crazy. This is weird cult shit. That's my opinion. That's my thought process. And I've slept on it and I still think, what the fuck? Maybe this is normal. I don't know. Does anybody else have a doggy daycare? Do they sound cultish like this? This is like, all right, let's start looking for different doggy daycares. Like, what are they? I don't know. Now, a play and train? That sounds good. He could use some training. He's a puppy. But the rest of that shit? That's some freaky deaky shit. I don't know about that. That's weird. That's some weird shit, man. I don't know. So that was my day. Hey, I went to Aldi yesterday. It was a great day. Filled up the entire cart. Filled up the entire cart at Aldi. It's a regular size cart. It's not a small cart. But it's not also like a monstrous Walmart cart, or Costco carts are big too. It's a regular grocery store cart. $130. That's it. If I went to like the normal grocery store, it'd be like 200 and something. Aldi, man. We are now all about, I guess that's a change within our family dynamic. We have chosen to shop at Aldi. That's about the biggest change around here in this household. Well, we've decided to switch from Metro Market to Aldi. That's a pretty big change in our life. And not only that, when I went to return the cart, somebody didn't put their cart away. So I doubled my money. I forgot to use Red Light's little thing. So I got my quarter back and somebody else's quarter. How about that? Max says 130 is a lot for Aldi. For an entire cart of groceries, that cart, I've been paying like $250 for the same amount of groceries that I got at Aldi for 130. I got a lot of like produce though. Like I wasn't getting ramen noodles and canned goods. I was getting like a lot of fresh produce, and fresh produce is expensive no matter where you go. Fresh produce. What else? Almond milk, like 7 different types of bread. And I realized, well, what did we just talk about yesterday? Bread is the devil. I don't think we said that, but like I got naan, I got something else, I got sourdough, I got 3 different things of brown crackers. What else did I get? Cereal, a lot of produce, a lot of fruit, cheese. I had to get a bunch of cheese. My wife's having a favorite things party tonight. I'm heading to the bar. A roast, like a big already made roast that you just drop in the crock pot. It's got the vegetables and all that already made up. Bunch of water and flavored water, pizza. I don't know, whole cart full. Do you only shop once a month? We shop more than once a month. Probably, how many trips to the grocery store do I make? Maybe twice a month. Like last night we had sushi. Like we're not a cooking household. Maybe that's stressing Ernie out. We're not a cooking household. Cooter says produce at our Aldi is usually 1 day from being rotted. That's not true at our Aldi. Our produce section is really good at Aldi. What did I get? I got avocados, and avocados are not quite ripe. Like probably give it a day. But then you just got to eat the shit out of them. Bananas are like right there. Like I need to start eating the bananas now. I got a bag of lettuce that lasts a little longer. What else did I didn't get any tomatoes. I got 4 things of the fruit, like the already cut fruit. This is what it's $2.99 for already cut, like a big thing of already cut fruit. That's like $7 at Metro Market. I got sliced pineapple, sliced watermelon, and sliced cantaloupe. I ate the whole thing of cantaloupe yesterday. What else did I get? What else? And there's probably some other stuff too. Let's go to the top of the chat. Victor's in the house. Good morning. We got Huddle Card Collection. What's happening? Good morning. Scott's in the house. Good morning. Dave Arnold, Bushnell Prairie City. What's happening? Art Green is here. What's going on? David is here. Good morning. Kyle's in the house. Good morning. When you were self-employed, are you really ever late? Well, according to Low Roller Scratcher, who's been absent lately, I am tardy if I'm late. That's tardy and late are the same thing, but I feel like if I feel like I am if I sleep past sunup. Yeah, and this is the time of year that I feel the same. Like if it's like on the typically only on the weekends, but I guess was it light out? It might have been light out when I finally woke up this morning. Cooter says, good morning. Maybe Ernie is acting out because he doesn't feel heard. That could be. Could be. Waking up at 4 o'clock to go take a shit. He's not feeling heard. Andy Mack, what's up? Good morning. John says, fucking microphone. Yeah, I'm too cheap. I'm not going to get a new one. Good morning, Brian. 2 days on the job now. 2 days. The Thrill Factory. Boston Smoke is here. Good morning. John says, I slept great last night, only to find out my wife recorded me and the dog snoring last night. That's sometimes, since I've lost weight, I don't snore as much, according to my wife. I used to be like, man. Like, there were some times where I was advised to sleep in the guest bedroom. And like, I'm like, you haven't woke me up for snoring. And she's like, no, like you haven't been snoring. I'm like, that's good. It's a good thing. Boycott Dogtopia. Dog Dystopia. Big Dog Vines in the house. It's Corey Garcia from Denver. What's up? Trash day. Yes, it is. Had to take the trash out this morning. Been great watching your show. You give great aspects to help people and the future in the hobby. Thank you. Go Broncos. You as well. I appreciate it. Peter's in the house. He says, happy Wednesday, trash day. It is happy Wednesday. It's only trash day. My wife was upset. See, this is why recycle day is a big week in our house. Last night, my wife's like, oh, tomorrow's trash and recycle day. I'm like, nope, it's just trash day tomorrow. And she's like, no, it's recycle day too. I'm like, nope, that was last week. And she's like, but our recycling is full. And I said, yes, we've just put more stuff in the recycling bin this week than we have in the past couple weeks. I assure you, it is only trash day. John says, Bo, going to a parent-teacher conference soon. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave that email unreplied to. We're just going to keep doing our thing. And if you like decide to kick Ernie out of your weird cult, that's okay. We'll find a new cult. New doggy daycare cult. Tracy, what's up? Good morning. Huddle Card laughs. Orlando is here. Good morning. John says, crates are for conformists. Let Ernie be Ernie. That's right. Ernie wants to play. Let him fucking play. Johnny M says, good morning. You should probably get Ernie a safe space and some crayons. Right. Let Ernie be free. Free Ernie. That's right. Let him out of his damn crate. We actually, I reached out to him because you can watch. Can we bring up? You can watch the puppies. Ernie's still in bed, but I can log in and show you. I think they're open. I think they open at 7. They turn the cameras off when they're closed. He's in the toy box room. So you can check in on their webcams and see how things are going. And like early on, it was like he'd only been going there for a couple days. Cameras aren't working. And he'd only been going there a couple days, and I like checked in, and he's in his crate. And like all the other puppies are out playing. And I checked in a little bit. Like, he's still in his fucking crate. And so I'm like, so I went in and I talked to him, and I'm like, hey, like I checked in on the webcam, and Ernie was in his crate a lot. And they're like, yeah, well, they don't want them, when they get overstimulated, they need a break. And I think that was one of the first things where it's like, this is weird. They're like, they need a break. They need to rest, which I get it, but just the way it was communicated was kind of weird. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, well, we'll let the staff know that he needs to get out more. It's like, yeah, like we don't take him to doggy daycare to be crated. We take him to get that energy out so he's not a little monster at home. we want you as the daycare to burn that energy, and we want him to be a little monster at your place, not ours. John says, you aren't paying Dogtopia to nap your dog. You're paying Dogtopia to have your dog play with other dogs. Amen. Amen. We're not there to have him sit in a crate and be comfortable and not stressed out. We want him playing. And if he didn't want to play, then we would think about like, okay, well, he sits in the corner. He's a wallflower. He doesn't like other dogs. Doggy daycare is not for him. That's the exact opposite. Ernie wants to go fucking play with every single dog that's in there. Not every single dog wants to play with him, but he'll learn. He gets snapped at, but that's what puppies do. And dogs. Like, that's just what they do. Let them do what they do. Ah, dang, this isn't human stuff. Kyle says, time for Ernie to drop out of dog school. We'll find him a new one. Drummer Matt K, what's up? He says, justice for Ernie. Yeah, free Ernie. Johnny M says, my dogs love their crates. I took the doors off and they are inside a lot. That's where they sleep. So that's the thing with Ernie. So with Biscuit absolutely hated the crate. Biscuit hated the crate. I don't know. Like, I wasn't, my wife, Biscuit was about a year and a half when my wife and I started dating, year and a half old. So I didn't experience the first, 18 months of behavior with Biscuit. But she didn't like the crate, when I came around, and didn't like being crated. Ernie loves his crate at home on his own time. Now, if we put him in his crate, he doesn't necessarily enjoy it, which is very uncommon. But like, we have his crate like sitting like next to the living room, the door's open, and like especially at night, like he'll go into his crate and take a nap on his own. But like if we leave, like if we go out to dinner and we put it in his crate, it kind of depends. Like if he's tired, if he's had a long day at doggy daycare and actually got to play, he's tired and he'll just go in and he's good. But sometimes, like if we crate him like in the morning, like say I'm downstairs working, like after Hobby Evolution, I'm shipping, and my wife's like, hey, I got to get ready. What do you want me to do with Ernie? And I'm like, just put him in his crate. I'll be up in like a half hour. And then he goes nuts because he knows mom's in the other room. He knows I'm probably here somewhere. So he goes nuts because it's in the morning. Like he wants to burn some energy. But for the most part, like, yeah, he also goes into his crate on his own and takes naps and doesn't fear it like Biscuit feared her crate. But I think also like with Biscuit, we like Ernie's crate is like out in the open, door open. So it's like open door policy. He can go in whenever he wants. It's not a sign of we're leaving him. Whereas Biscuit, we like put it in the closet. So when we like got the crate out, Biscuit's like, oh no, that means you're leaving me home alone. She didn't like that. But then we finally, I told my wife, I'm like, we don't have to crate Biscuit when we leave. Like she's trustworthy. She's just going to hang out on the couch the whole time. And we had like a Nest camera, I think, in the house. We had a Nest camera in the house. So we would watch, we'd check in and make sure, she's not throwing parties or something. And like, she like didn't leave her spot on the couch the entire time. It's like, okay, she's good. We don't need to crate her anymore. John says there isn't a creature in the world where crates are natural. That's true. That's true. People don't like to be locked up. Animals don't like to be locked up. That's true. Yes. It is not natural. George is here. He says, sounds like Dogtopia is getting ready to declare martial law against the Thompson household. Yeah. Is this a good thing in South Korea or a bad thing? I got a message in a chat group and just talking about martial law. I don't know if it was whatever it was passed unanimously. Is that good or bad? Tell the dystopians to be better at their gigs. They call it work for a reason, then tell them to work harder. Red light, a little late today. I'm a little late today. Maybe Ernie is affected by half off sales. That's a big change. That's a big change. We're blowing shit out the door. Good morning, red light. 99-cent cards Canada. That person ate too much glue in elementary school. That's what I'm starting to think. Like, what is going on? Cuckoo. You're going to get a visit from family services soon. DCFS going to roll up. We understand Ernie's having some behavioral issues at school. F-bomb. Don't vault Ernie. No vaulting Ernie. That is all language we use for our kids. Andy Mack says, oof, I caught a pet rabbit someone released in our neighborhood. We ended up having to take him to a specialized vet. They kept referring to me as a bunny dad. I can assure you, I am not a bunny dad. That is funny. Tim's in the house. What's up? Pissed off, rage, bow, engaged. Must see streaming. George says they probably got purple hair and pay to have their oil changed. Oh, yeah. They probably can't even change their own oil at Dogtopia. What's up, that dude from DAAAAY? Vote with your wallet. Yeah. Non-crating is a gateway to a life of drugs, petty crimes, and delinquency. Why the hell are the cleaners in your sanctuary? My wife sends the pre-clean day, putting Post-it notes on doors they shouldn't enter. Maids clean like a tenth of the house. They clean all of the rooms here. And here's why. I was given a choice. And this was back in the old house. Because they broke they like broke a bat. I think I've had 3 bobbleheads broken from the cleaners, and I don't care. Like it's not like I don't care. And so like the first one was like, oh, accidents happen. I think the first one actually happened in our first house we lived together in. I think that was the Chris Bryant bobblehead. And it's like, well, yeah, accidents happen. I'm okay about it, you know. Second one, I think it was Jorge Soler. And I'm like, God damn it. And so I told my wife, and I'm like, I just don't want them cleaning the shelves. And she's like, they can clean the shelves or you have to clean the shelves. And I'm like, wait. What? No. How about they don't clean the shelves? And I'll clean them every once in a while. And she's like, no. She's like, I don't want the dust. And I'm like, okay. So so that was that. So I made the decision. I don't want to clean my own bobbleheads. So, and I don't think they're not actually wiping off they're doing the glass shelves that they're on. So it's not that they're dusting every single bobblehead. They're just basically wiping around the bobbleheads. So they're in here. I don't care. If they want to take a Steve Grogan MSA disc, that they're free to take it. Yeah, they can enter my sanctuary. I don't care. The card room is unfinished space. Next door shipping room, unfinished space. So they can, they don't clean those areas, obviously, but everywhere else, clean it up. Max says, sounds like the last report card I heard from a school. Then we wonder why our children are soft. Call my dog a hardened criminal then, Cooter. Proud a better of a 4-legged hooligan. Hooligan's a fun word. Hooligan. Ernie will be happier playing baseball cards in the basement. Let him have a stack of bulk to sort. You know, the good thing is, you know, I'm also seeing behavioral changes in Ernie because he's growing as a fucking puppy. Puppies get more calm as they age and becoming a dog. He's 6 months old. We got him when he was, how long have we had Ernie? 3 months? When the hell did we get Ernie? In August. Oh, well, we've had him almost 4 months. It's actually been about 4. So we got him. He was about 2 months old when we got him. And he was like a little terror. Like right now I have a couple boxes on the floor. I have a few boxes on the floor. And he would like constantly get into these boxes. If I brought him down today and I do have to shut the doors because he will go off and wander in, and eventually he'll just run upstairs and just lay on the floor. But he's still not 100% potty trained. So that's why he's not to be trusted. But when the first couple months of having him, if I had anything on the floor, like he would just get into it, like everything. And he wanted to chew, like he chewed on baseball cards. Now I just left like shit. I had like a stack of like junk wax I need to just throw. I think I just need to throw them away. They're in this coffee table I have on the bottom. There's like shelf on the bottom that I think I was emptying a box and I just put the junk wax cards there. He'd get into those cards and just eat them. It's like, Ernie, you can't eat cardboard. But now I can trust him coming in and not fucking with shit. John is my dog's daycare. 99-cent Cards Canada says, email them back with a coupon code to your eBay store. It'll make as much sense as that email. That's right. That's right. Are you feeling heard and supported? Shop my eBay store. Ernie should show up at Dogtopia wearing a necklace made from his own nuts. Unicorn Cupcake says, look like I'll have to rewind. Embrace the rebel and fuck Aldi. Sign you've given up. Porter's here. Good morning. Aldi is where it's at. Merle says, bought fewer frozen pizza. Only bought one. Only bought one frozen pizza. Cooter says, produce at our Aldi is usually one day from being rotted. Max says that explains the number. Isn't that par for the course in Oklahoma? Produce being rotted. John says, judging by the clientele I see in Aldi parking lots, their customers are one day away from being rotted. You know, I'm actually surprised by the clientele at Aldi. It does skew a little older, but it's not like I was expecting when I first went to Aldi. I was expecting, here I am judging, and they're probably looking at me the same way. But they're people from Walmart. And I was kind of expecting Aldi to be similar to people from Walmart, but it's not at all. Not at all. That was what I was surprised by. Max says, I don't think I've seen a brown spot on a single piece of fruit at ours. And I did Instacart for a few months during COVID for card money. Yeah, the produce at our Aldi is great. Like it's better than Metro Market. Now, Metro Market, I can't complain. Like their produce is good too. But yeah, good produce at Aldi, at least at our Aldi. Maybe Low Roller Scratcher has been created. He needs to be seen and heard. Bitcoin hasn't hit 100K yet, so he's hiding. Porter says, John, we have a Save-A-Lot for the derelicts in my town. Aldi is high class. I didn't Save-A-Lot. That's a store is that a regional thing? Because I don't see Save-A-Lots here in Wisconsin, but we did have Save-A-Lot down in Illinois. I don't know if they're still around. Save-A-Lot. I didn't know Save-A-Lots were still around. I can't remember if there was a Save-A-Lot in Geneseo or Save-A-Lot. Where wasn't Macomb, I don't think. I know we had Aldi in some of those places, but Save-A-Lot. Uncle Rich, good morning. From the Mike Cooper Hall of Fame wing, we all say good morning to you. Yes. We were talking about Hall of Famers because John told me last night that Tony Oliva went into the Hall of Fame the same year that Donovan McNabb went into the Hall of Fame, which apparently was 2022. So I didn't realize Donovan McNabb went into the Hall of Fame in 2022. Tony Oliva in the Hall of Fame. And had a conversation. Like, there's some weird Hall of Fame, like, especially when it comes to basketball. And, like, football, you know how awful I am with naming Hall of Fame football players. Basketball is like Michael Cooper's in the Hall of Fame. Like, what? Like, and I don't follow, especially the Hall of Fame when it comes to football and basketball. I don't follow it as closely as I do with baseball. We'll go through the Baseball Hall of Fame here at some point as the ballots are coming in. I'm not sure how many public ballots are in. Mr. Tibbs is on Blue Sky now. I don't check into Blue Sky very often. Yeah, like there's some wild ass only 10 ballots are in. Hey, Philip Bondi voted for Mark Burley. He added him to the ballot this year. Mark Burley gets a vote from somebody. But yeah, Michael Cooper's in the Hall of Fame. Some random. But at the same time, if I didn't follow the Baseball Hall of Fame, there's a lot of baseball players that I'm like, what? Alan Trammell and Harold Baines are in the Hall of Fame. Rich says they've already picked up our trash at 7 a.m. Wow, that's early. They're a little later here. It's like sometimes it's closing in on noon before they pick up our trash. The old neighborhood, shit, I forgot. I had to go take the trash out, or I heard the truck coming at like 7 a.m. Mark is here. What's up? Good morning. Unicorn Cupcake says you should send them an equally cringe email from Ernie expressing his thoughts and decide. That would be hilarious. Now, that would have to be like after we pull him out of this doggy daycare, because I wouldn't want to show my face after sending an email like that. Like, I'm kind of like nervous to go back. It's like, it's Ernie's dad. Like I'm some deadbeat dad. That's Ernie's dad. Ernie doesn't feel, he's not supported and feeling heard at home because he's got a deadbeat dad. Uncle Rich says, ought to be a fly on the wall at the daddy-son PTA meeting. John says it's not a crate if the door is off. It's a goddamn room. That's true. That is true. It's not a crate if you can go in and out at your own free will. John says, good morning. Please live stream the parent-teacher conference. I'll strap a little GoPro. Sir, are you recording? No. This is a new accessory. It's like a necklace. Porter says, I finally caught up on Black Friday through Monday's shipping. Holy hell, sales were insane. Currently sorting vintage football while sipping coffee. Oh, yeah. Love it. Yeah, sales were great here. I thought maybe I'd do a little more volume over the 3-4 days that I did the sale, but still can't complain. I'm buried as it is. So still closing in on 200. We had auctions end last night. The auctions last night there was some stuff that went way higher than I expected. And then there was some stuff that, I think the Joe Montana was the only card that went lower than my expectations. I was thinking it would sell for between 40 and $50. So let's say 45. And I think it went for 33. But the Tony Oliva, I thought would go for like 3 or 4, sold for like 36. Like I know it's in good shape and it's, but damn, I wasn't expecting that. There was something else that went for the Bryce Harper through the years went for like $15.50. I was thinking that would go for like, I know it sells for more than a regular insert. I was thinking it'd go for like 8, maybe 10. So I was happy with that. A lot of like some of my Cubs stuff didn't sell. And we're just talking like base rookies, Christopher Morel, Seiya Suzuki. That'll just go back in my store, $1.75 free shipping. But overall, I was really happy, satisfied. There's already bids on stuff. Some of those 24 karat gold cards are already $5-6 in bidding. They just started last night. So I'm already happy with that. I think there's some auctions ending tonight that are going for much higher than my expectations. So all a good thing. Did I go through my November sale? I think we went through my November sales. My November sales were down, I think, and I haven't compared, but I think November year to date was 5th year to date, my 5th best month of 2024 when it's all said and done. And hopefully December, hopefully we can buck that trend and get on the way back up. Dystemic is here. What's going on? Good morning. Brian Wolf's in the house. He says, I love it when my maids wipe around my bobbling head. Oh, there you go. That was a movie, wasn't it? You're paying someone to clean your fucking house. Yes, that is correct. Buy another if they break it. Also, stand up for yourself. 2 people live there. Yeah, but you know how things, you know how things, there are things you don't want to, there are some things where it's like, okay, I'm good. I'm not going to argue about this. That is one of them. Ernie is a male dog They are more active than females. Yes, absolutely. Unicorn Cupcake says it is not socially acceptable to speak on gender differences in Madison. I'm Madison like the new Jaguar commercial. That's because you only know Bears players. That is kind of true. That is kind of true. Michael Cooper is a worthy Hall of Famer. He would have been even better on a team not as loaded as the Lakers. Unicorn Cupcake hasn't seen it yet. Tom Coleman in the house. What's up? Good morning. Waiting for our freight to arrive. Well, good morning. Uncle Rich says, when I first moved to this house, it was 3 p.m. Now it's 7 a.m. Oh, with the trash collection. Shane says Donovan McNabb isn't in the Hall of Fame. Well, according to John Keating, he went in the same year as Tony Oliva. That's what he said in the chat last night. When I said, I don't know if Tony Oliva's in the Hall of Fame, and John Keating said Tony Oliva went in the same year as Donovan McNabb. So is John wrong? Is Tony Oliva in the Hall of Fame? Is Donovan McNabb not in the Hall of Fame? John Keating, present yourself. Dystemic says, hung out with Tony O one time. Can't understand half of what he says, but super nice guy. Tony O. Who is Tony? Oh, Tony Oliva. The guy that I just talked about. Uncle Rich says, is Morrell still with the Cubs award? He is not. He is with the Tampa Bay Rays. If not, that may be why he did not draw any bids. He is still very collected in the Cubs community. In my Cubs group chat, people are still fighting over Christopher Morrell cards. Now, they're not fighting over base rookie cards. They're fighting over gold autographs and, the fancy stuff. But Christopher Morrell is still beloved by Cubs collectors and still sought after. But generally speaking, the general fandom, his collectability, his hobby market is going to drop going from the Cubs to the Rays. Johnny M says promoted 12 cards at 100% to experiment 3 weeks ago. Players that should sell not one sold and views are very low. That's interesting. What were your prices? Because you could promote it 100%, and you could have Shohei Ohtani, but if it's a 2024 Bowman paper, Shohei Ohtani priced at $50, you can promote all you want, and it's not going to sell. So I don't know what you're priced at. If they're priced at comps, there you go. I've seen a huge difference when I promote cards, and although the more you promote, I've noticed it's kind of like it's that balancing act. I dropped my promoted rate from 12 to 10% recently. But I've gone to 20%, and I actually saw the same results at 20% as I did 12%. So dropped it down to 12%. I'm at 10% now, dynamic rate. So I'm not paying 10% on everyone. But there you go. DAAAAY Card says, good morning. 37 years old today. Don't feel much different, but 40 is approaching quickly. Happy birthday, DAAAAY Cards. Yeah, birthday, it's just another number. I was okay with 40. 30 was, it was 29. 29 was my, if I've had any difficulty with age, it was 29. And that's when I made that was probably my biggest life change. When I turned 29, I realized I don't think I can work in radio my entire life. I need to do something else. And that was when I turned 29, that was kind of what was going through my mind. And a couple months later, actually a month later, I decided I'm going to quit my job and go to school, back to college full time, be Rodney Dangerfield. And I did. And here I am today. Uncle Rich says McNabb not in the Hall of Fame. Tony Oliva, yes. Where's John Keating? John Keating needs to hear this news. There you go. Happy birthday, DAAAAY Cards. Thankfully not. Thank you, Mr. Klein. Johnny M says low end, $2 to $8. Y'all are youngin', says Scott. DAAAAY is not even he's not even 40 yet. I'm a man, I'm 40. Unicorn Cupcake says, show yourself, John. Explain your spreading of fake news. Christ, you are a moderator of a channel of a man who has collected 1 million Cubs cards. Guess you can't trust anyone on the internet anymore. John Keating. John Keating, where are you? He's hiding like Low Roller Scratcher. Hey, speaking of 1 million Cubs, the Superfractor went off to PSA when I was down at the Dallas Card Show. When I was down at the Dallas Card Show, I submitted to PSA. And what's pretty cool is on the PSA app, you can reveal, like, I am not one of those. I don't need like an unboxing video, especially it's one card. I submitted one card. This is the card. So I didn't need a big reveal, but you can reveal it on the app. It's pretty cool. So it shows the back of the card, and then you just click it and you reveal, and boom, there it is. So the Superfractor received a PSA 9. And so some people are like, oh, you should have got a 10. And it's like, but I don't want it. I feel like a 9. I feel like a 9 is realistic. Like, I feel like a 10 would be fake. Like, oh, they just did it because it's it's a promo card type deal. So I'm actually kind of happy it got a 9. I'm happy it got a 9. I love that they put the number. Somebody mentioned they didn't like the 1 million being spelled out in numbers. The more I look at it, the more I like 1,000,000,000. I kind of like that. It's got my name. That's cool. It's actually in the directory or whatever the hell they call it. So now I got to submit I want to submit a couple base cards with my autograph so they can get my autograph on file. So there it is. PSA 9. PSA 9 on the Superfractor. Johnny M says LRS probably cashed out all his Bitcoins and is now living on a private island. Hey, he could be. Merle says, how many Superfractors have thrown out a first pitch? Johnny M says, you're a 10 in my book. Well, thank you. Max says, you think about shit too much. 10 is fine. No, I think a PSA 9 is perfect. I don't want a 10. Love your card. Thank you, Orlando. Max says, I'm more curious why you went with PSA over SGC. Well, number one, PSA reached out to me and said, hey, we'll slab it for you. PSA is like, PSA's grading. Like, when you think of grading, now for my own collection, and especially when it comes to pre-war, I want SGC slabs because they look better. When it comes to modern stuff, I'm going to send a PSA. I've now submitted. I broke my cherry on PSA. I submitted the Jeter SP, the Peyton and the Dr. J and a couple other things to PSA. So PSA is like the Mike Trout. I sent that to PSA. Like, that's where you go. PSA. Now, if I want my Ernie Banks 1954 tops, like, I could have sent that to PSA, but I sent everything else to SGC in that submission. So it's like, I'll go to SGC. The tobacco cards look so much better in tuxedos, but PSA is, Bose. It's not vintage. Yeah. I've got some modern slabs in SGC, but usually because it's a promo, it's like the Bowman Chrome promo or whatever, $9, whatever. So, but mainly Chris Carlin reached out to me and said, hey, you can submit that and we'll grade it for you. And I'm like, oh, let's do it. I'll do that. So that's kind of the main reason. But also it's PSA. Like, I mean, when you think of grading, do you think PSA or SGC? Even me, I prefer SGC in most of my cards, but when I think of grading, I think of PSA. And that's why. Let's see. Merle says, numbers on the sign is right. They didn't spell out Dunston's batting average either. Hey, that's a good point. That's a really good point. It's a great way to put it. Brian says, would have got an L11 at SGC. Bo doesn't wear tuxedos. That's true. He sent a PSA because he's going to sell it and wants the most. There you go, because I'm going to flip it. Bo isn't vintage. Yellow background on Bob Uecker rookie looks 100% better in an SGC slab than PSA, in my opinion. I think a lot of cards look better in SGC than PSA. Orlando says Uncle Rich's card goes to SGC. Hey, by the way, Uncle Rich's card right there. There's Uncle Rich. He's a placeholder for the Bo Superfractor. Did PSA charge me? Yes, they did. Yep, I paid. What did I pay? It was like $50, $40. PSA. Absolutely, they charged me. Where do I find my orders? How do I find out how much I paid for it? Because I don't know if I entered my credit card and all that stuff, but I don't. Do they bill you once they send it or whatever? I don't know. Whatever you pay when you drop off a card at a card show. And it doesn't show anything. Orders, I think that's just going to bring up. But it was like $40 or $50, I think. Uncle Rich says it will make it easier for Amy to sell the card when that time comes. There you go. See? There you go. Thinking about the future. Bradley says SGC on vintage is my game. Absolutely. Max says just bizarre thinking is all. I don't know if that's bizarre thinking. All right, let's poll the chat. If you were to submit your card, where would you send it? PSA or SGC? Rich Klein says if my card is signed, it needs to go to CGC or BAS. So would PSA, they have exemplars, PSA SGC does not. Can you reach out to, so here's what happened. So my friend sent one of the Bo cards to PSA. It was signed. And it was probably there at PSA when I saw the Rich Klein card get rejected at PSA. And so I messaged my buddy and I said, hey, it's probably going to get kicked back. And I showed the picture. This is probably what's going to happen because they don't have an exemplar of my signature. And I said, so I reached out to PSA, to Chris, and I said, hey, my friend just submitted. I know you don't have my autograph on file. And so he goes, get me the submission number and I can pass a note along. And so it was already like rejected and sent back. By the time we got the number, it was already sent back. So I don't know if that'll work. Maybe. So we'll see. Let's see. Merle says, as soon as the Superfractor comes home, Uncle Rich will be living in a box. Max says, wait, they reached out to you to grade it and then charged you. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it be, I think it would be worse if they didn't charge me. I mean, wouldn't that be like, I think it would be bad form if PSA didn't charge me. I would not be good with that. Like, I wouldn't like it if, like, hey, you pulled a big card, we'll grade that for free. It just, I don't like that. I would not like that. Would you like it if PSA was giving out free grades? No. So I'm glad they charged me. So it's not that weird, that weird vibes. Kyle says, after submitting to CGC, I'm a big fan. Their slabs are insanely clear. Yeah. I don't know if I have any of the new CGC, but I have some of the, when they were, this is going back to when they were green. I think they've changed a couple times. But the old green, they're really nice. Like, they look ugly. Like, if you see a picture, but if you hold them, they're like, wow, these are really nice slabs. Philly Joe says, PSA. Uncle Rich says, we had a day-long thread on Twitter about my signed card being rejected by PSA. Yes, I was involved in that conversation as well. Unicorn Cupcake says, depends what my card looked like, but most likely PSA. Tim Noble says, PSA all day. If it is a high-value card and comes back PSA 9, crack and resub to SGC. Uncle Rich says, and then later the good doctor and I did a podcast about why it was the right corporate thing on the card. Max says, you say you prefer SGC slabs. Why not send to SGC? I don't prefer SGC slabs on every card. I prefer SGC slabs on vintage. Modern cards, PSA. It's not going to be worth any more graded versus raw versus SGC versus PSA. And I would rather have my card in PSA, in a PSA slab. If I pulled a superfractor, you're goddamn right I'm sending it to PSA. And I'm not talking about my own superfractor. If I submit, I've got some raw superfractors, I would submit them to PSA. I am not submitting a Bowman Chrome superfractor to SGC. I would submit a 1954 Topps Ernie Banks to SGC. I'd even send that to PSA. Tobacco cards, no, I do not want them going to PSA. I'm going to send those to SGC. I've even cracked a tobacco card that was PSA, sent it to SGC, and then FedEx lost it. Not going to do that again. That's bad juju. Rich Klein says, but not the best thing. Max says, the PSA being worth more has zero to do with this conversation. I agree with that. Where are we at? Porter says, SGC for PC, PSA for resale. I regret submitting my vintage baseball PC to PSA. You realize that happens on big cards. I don't like it. It may happen. I don't like it. And since I don't like it, I am not going to, if I don't like something, I am not going to like, the reason I shill companies like Mascot and Collects and Car Dealer Pro is because I like them and I use them. Well, I haven't used Mascot yet, but Collects and Car Dealer Pro, I like them and I use them. I don't like the way buysportscards.com does their marketing. I'm not going to use them. I don't like if PSA gives out free submissions, like, hey, we'll grade that card for free if you slab it PSA. I don't like that. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'll do it. That's hypocrisy. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. Unicorn Cupcake says, would love to see some stress tests on PSA SGC holders, fire, water pressure, etc. There probably are. I'm sure if you YouTube it, I'm sure there are stress tests. My slabs are either sitting in boxes or sitting in a showcase. So, but I guess worst comes to worst, there's a fire hose. But I think that's at that point, the least of my worries would be stress tests on that. Shane says, if the super got a 10, I could see the AIH video now, right? The conspiracy theorists are coming out. You have to ask the question, did Bo pay for the 10? Was there hanky-panky? Is this a pump and dump? Right. I love it. Uncle Rich says, Cooter would counsel you about why you were not consistent in whom you send graded cards to. Probably some truth. I have my own methods of why I send things where. Cooter says, PSA looks like blister packaging on razors. Unicorn Flipping Steve did that with Brett Favre PSA card. He ran over with his truck, threw it off of buildings. I think it went scuba diving or something. Merle says, SGC, the tuxes make the colors pop. I'll look him up, but maybe something more controlled would be more helpful. Brian says, if you like SGC, it's because you like shitty cards getting high grades higher. And that's the thing. Like I've the blue refractor Justin Verlander. I was going to submit to PSA, and it said, send this to SGC. You're going to get a higher grade. He goes, this is probably going to get an 8 at PSA. Send it to SGC, and it might get it's probably going to get a 9. And it got a 10. A 10. I'm like, okay. He also told me to send the Mike Trout to SGC because it's going to get a higher grade at SGC than it would at PSA. And I'm like, I don't want it. Again, this is why I don't want the Mike Trout blue refractor in an SGC slab. I want it in a PSA slab. It got a 7. Maybe it could have got an 8, maybe a 9 from SGC, but I'd rather take the 7, have it in a PSA slab than SGC. Merle says, if you got a PSA 10, how much do you think you would have been upcharged? Cooter collects cards, not grades. And I think that's a good stopping point. Have a great day. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Did we shill my eBay store at all? What the fuck am I doing? 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more buy it now cards. Save 25% off at checkout, so you'll still get some great deals. I've got auctions ending tonight. I've got auctions ending Thursday night. And then I've got auctions ending Sunday, Monday, and of course Tuesday. I've got a batch. I've got some more vintage baseball going to go live tonight at auction, so I got to get those up. My wife is hosting a favorite things party this evening, so me and my friend Mark, we're going to hit the Village Green tonight. So there's going to be like 20 women upstairs. So I just assume be away from the house this evening. So visit my store, 99centcards.com. I'll be shipping. So if you bought, I'm still working on getting out. I think I'm up to Sunday on what I need to ship out. So if you bought any cards this weekend, I think maybe half of my Saturday sales are out, and working on maybe Saturday night into Sunday. So getting those shipped out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, 99centcards.com. Have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.